Hello, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about the process of writing, recording, and then eventually releasing your own music in a three-step process from a more independent perspective, of course. I feel like music brings release and anxiety from, the tension of life. To me, it kind of represents the relief of the monotony of kind of, like having to work and go to school and academia and just kind of be like formed and molded into this routine lifestyle every day. It really helps me with coping with that. I feel like it's one of the most important coping mechanisms that we use today as a society. I feel like we've all been directly or indirectly affected by music at some point in our lives, in movies or on the radio or records or CDs nowadays. Perhaps the people that are more directly influenced by music are the ones who move on to like kind of make it, whether it's in their off time or as a main source of income. These artists make this labor through like intense works of love and patience and technical skill, and the process which goes into recording the music is actually pretty interesting. I'm sure a lot of us have wondered what it's like to record the music, or what it's like to maybe have the creative process in our favorite artists or musicians. So, like maybe those of us who already make music want to know how their favorite artists do it or how other artists make it. So I figure it would be a comfortable area for me to be able to demonstrate how to record music. I've been recording myself for almost 2 years, and I've been in a few bands previous to that as a vocalist. So in my short time in underground hip hop, I've already made music with Volume 10, the guy who wrote Pistol Grip Pump. If any of you have heard that, I've gained over 2,000 supporters on SoundCloud, which is an achievement of mine under the name Dilemma 39, which is what I go by. I've released several. I've been having verses released on several mixtapes from other artists, and I'm also the one of the technicians at the MC department at Juice Los Angeles, Rampart Juice, which is a hip hop workshop that's dedicated to gearing kids in the right direction using hip hop music. Throughout all my accomplishments, I've learned that music is a really really positive way to attract other positive like-minded people in your life, and positive things will come to you if you work hard. And I think that the process of making music has really become a passion of mine, and it's really taught me a lot about life. So now I'm going to get into the real key aspects of the music writing process, from my perspective at least, how music is made, from the first writing and creating process to the recording and styling and mixing, and then eventually getting into the releasing and the promoting of music. So first, we're going to get into the process of writing. So a lot of MCs use instrumental tracks, or they'll make beats from scratch with their friends or by themselves. And then after that, if they don't have a pre-written verse or a couple of verses with a topic and a theme that's kind of like directing a story for the listener, then they'll come up with something after listening to the beat, maybe something that matches a little bit more with the beat. And then after getting a nice little image in your head, once you're really, really happy with that, and you practice it and you like the way it sounds, then we go into the recording process, which is, for me, done at home with a home studio, which is what a lot of people choose to do if you invest in taking that route. A lot of other people will pay to go to studios or use workshops like my workshop that happens on Saturdays, which is another route for people who haven't had the time or the money to be able to invest in a little cheap home studio. In this process, the styling is really important, how you come off and your enunciation and the way you say your words, because words are just words until you say them, and how you say them really affects, the way that they're heard and the way that they're perceived, which is really relevant to this class, I think, especially. The third process that we're going to talk about is like packaging, labeling, stickers, licensing, performing, t-shirts, merchandising, and all that stuff. Those are key ways for musicians to get their music out there and to network with other musicians. Now, when you have a finished product, there's multiple different ways, especially now that we're in the year of 2016 with online formats. There's people that are strictly online artists that only release music online. There's other artists that are not online as heavily and don't have as much of an online presence, and they're a little bit more live, and they're in the radio, and they're here in the mainstream, or maybe they have a cult following or a certain following, subgenre of following. So there's a lot of different ways to get your music out there as a young musician, a lot of ways to network and stuff like that. But I feel like those are the three main processes when it comes to making music, as far as the writing, and then the recording, and then eventually the releasing of the music, which is kind of the three main points in conclusion of the process of writing music. So it's interesting for us to be able to take a look back and understand the whole process of writing and how our musicians come up with what we listen to on a regular basis, because we might only listen to it for a minute or two, maybe 3 or 4, but each song takes, hours and hours of hard work and dedication and creativity and practice and technical skill, and it's nice to know how that's made and the appreciation and love that goes into that. So thanks for listening.